Okay, okay.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadochyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We have to daily contemplate and reflect. When we daily contemplate and reflect, this mantra, it settles into our mind, and then the mind stops complaining about the stress and the suffering. It is very important. We have to contemplate. I was just saying that, when I look at the glass is half full and half empty, what exactly I'm looking? What is my goal? I don't see that my goal, and then it will not work. I understand it intellectually and I say, okay, I feel very good. If I feel good by looking at the emptiness, that emptiness is outside. I don't have that emptiness inside me. And unless that emptiness is not inside me, I cannot become free from the delusion and the suffering. So this mantra says Om Purnamada, wholeness of the existence. Everything in existence, both manifest and unmanifest, is complete and perfect. Anything that manifests is visible to us, is seen to us, is experienced by us. So anything that I experience, anything that I perceive, anything that I feel, anything good, bad, high, low, pleasure, pain, likes, dislikes, victory, defeat, all comes under the under the category of manifestation, expression, and it is understood by the senses and the mind. Like sleep state is also a manifestation, dream state is also a manifestation, waking state is also a manifestation. Why I say it expresses or manifest? Because manifestation means it has its birth and it has its death. What it means, it is constantly changing. So, whatever is changing is manifestation, like the waves in an ocean. But what is behind the waves is the water that does not change. So the master is saying that everything in existence, there are two parts. One part is manifestation, another part remains unmanifest. Will it manifest in future? Yes, it will continue to manifest, but it will not become the part of the birth and the death. I believe you are getting it. So means what? The fan is moving. I will close it. The light is there and then switch off it. But behind every manifestation, there is an existence, and that existence is whole, and that whole is pure consciousness. Or we can say that without that reality, which is known as the wholeness or the whole, there can be no manifestation. The waves cannot exist without water. Water does not change. Waves change their name and the form. Very big waves, very high speed, it's a hurricane, it's tsunami, it's a storm. Otherwise, the wave quality, shape, intensity is very low. We enjoy those waves. But the water does not change. Whether you have whether you have a big storm, whether the it floods the entire city, it sinks the entire city, and all the houses are merged with the ground, but the water remains water. Such a speed of the water, that is what the master is saying. Our real nature never changes. It is always eternal, unchanging, all pervading, of the nature of being. What changes is my mind and body and habit and behavior and attitude and thought and speech and action. They are all manifest. Whatever is visible, whatever is experienced, so the waves are there, storm is there, tsunami is there. Do I have that awareness? Do I have that simultaneous awareness? And when someone says this wave is beautiful and you have an awareness, it is all water. That tsunami is crazy, that is still water. Why I gave this example? I have an anxiety or the pleasure, both are manifestation. Behind that, there is one consciousness that never changes. So when the I identifies with the pain, I identifies with the pleasure, I'm lost. I lose my awareness. When I lose my awareness, it is ignorance. When I live in ignorance, it causes the suffering. Now I am pain. I have to make an effort. Now I am pleasure. So I have to repeat that pleasure. Why I want to repeat the pleasure? Because I'm scared it will take me to pain. So the repetition of searching happiness outside causes the delusion, and the delusion causes the suffering. Same thing with the pain. I want to avoid pain, so I make a lot of effort. It doesn't work. Why doesn't work? I'm searching happiness outside in the world, in the manifestation, which is constantly changing. And it will not work. It has not worked. That is why our great masters contemplated, reflected, meditated, and they created a method which you can say yoga or mindfulness or meditation or tantra or awakening or realization, whatever we say the different name. So the first line said, Om, wholeness of the existence. Om Purnamidaha Purnamidam. This is whole, means my real self is whole. So whatever manifests through this whole will also be whole. Like, the human parents will deliver only the human babies, not the lion babies. So that is the message. The unity of creation. That is the second line of this mantra. The manifest universe emerges from the unmanifest whole. What it means, the sleep, dream, waking state emerges from the unmanifest consciousness. Means what? I am that consciousness which we say real self. There is one more doubt to be cleared. One thing is manifestation, other is creation. Sometimes we use both the words together, but it should be, or we exchange it. So, in the manifestation, nothing happens to the whole, nothing happens to the consciousness. I sleep every day, I wake up every day, I dream every day, that I have been doing for years and years together, and still the consciousness remains the same. But when you create something, when we use the word creation, then it means that you have used the water, converted into something else. Now the amount of the water present in an ocean has become less. Nothing becomes less in this case. Consciousness, nothing becomes. Consciousness neither increases or decreases. That consciousness is what I am. This is what the master is pointing out. We are that pure consciousness. It is not the anxiety, but it is in the anxiety. It is not the pleasure, but it is in the pleasure. It is in the hunger, but not the hunger. It is in the half emptiness glass, but it is not the emptiness. It is half full of water, but it is still not that. That is the journey of the self discovery by simply understanding. I told you, I've been repeating, knowledge takes time to become. The seed does not become a tree overnight. So we have to allow that knowledge to settle in the mind. How should I allow the knowledge to settle in the mind? By regular practice, by regular contemplation and reflection. If we don't do it, it will not work. Then in the third line, Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamaduchyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. The third line, immutability of the absolute. So that consciousness is immutable. It is absolute. Like the water, it does not change its character. You cannot say when the storm comes, this H2O becomes something else. When you have a beautiful waves and you are enjoying, that H2O is something else. H2O is H2O. It does not change. What changes is the manifestation. What changes is my anger, hesitation, duality, and a conflict. It is all manifestation. Body is manifestation. Mind is manifestation. Thought, feeling, emotions, etc., all are manifestations. So the master is saying immutable, absolute is immutable. When we have ordinary consciousness, very ordinary, or you can say animal consciousness, or you can say totally, I'm living my life unconsciously, habitually. Even though I know the water and the waves are one, my mind, because of the ignorance and the delusion, perceives they are two. And when they are two, then we have likes and dislikes. Then we have strong reaction. Then we fall into ignorance and we continue to suffer. Take the example here and now. Either you have a simultaneous awareness of one consciousness and everyone attending the session. So if I have a simultaneous awareness of one consciousness plus this number of people are the manifestation of the same consciousness, you don't invite any likes and dislikes. There is no pain and the pleasure. There is no fight. There is nothing else. You enjoy. But if we don't have that simultaneous awareness, we lose it. Why we lose it? Because I love you, I'm attached to you. I hate you, I'm not. Or liking and dislike, or preferences. So then I don't see the non dual consciousness. When I don't see that non dual means only oneness, which is hidden behind all the manifestations. Water is hidden behind all the waves. But I don't recognize and realize it is only one water, then we have lot of challenges because then the duality comes, then the likes and dislikes comes, victory and defeat comes, profit and loss comes, and a long list which fills my mind and I start living into delusion. The master explaining the mantra, he says, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I discussed this Om Shanti. First Shanti to the known world, second Shanti to the unknown world, and the third Shanti is within me. Last time we discussed the nature of happiness and its source. What exactly is the nature of happiness and its source? You see, when we understand the principle, the metaphor helps us. When we understand the concept, then the parable, the story helps. And when we want to understand the context, then the example helps. Look at the clarity of our masters. So let me use the metaphor to explain this principle. What is the principle? There is only one consciousness, all pervading, eternal, here and now, always, in the past, in the present, and also in the future. Happiness is like a sun. Now I'm using the metaphor. It is incomplete. Happiness is like a sun always shining behind the clouds of our desires and attachments. I'll explain it, but I'm repeating the metaphor. What metaphor I created? To understand the principle, happiness is like the sun always shining behind the clouds of our desires and attachments. Just now, the main thing is coming. Just as we cannot see the sun on a cloudy day, but we know it is there. How I know that it is there? That's why I see the clouds. And still I say I can't see it. True happiness is always present within us. It is obscured by our mental projections of desires, duality. Or if I have a pain in the knee, do you think that happiness is always there? Yes, it is behind that pain because you identify your body with yourself, then you say that I have a pain. That I is not at all related to the knee. You are of the nature of happiness. That is the meaning of this metaphor. Just like happiness is like the sun always shining behind the clouds of our desires and attachment. Oh, today I don't see the sun. What do you see? I see the clouds. But in which light you see the clouds? It is the sunlight. So happiness is already there. Happiness is already there. But I claim that I don't see. That is ignorance. That is because of the delusion. That is why, that is why, that is why many masters use the word mysticism occurred. Because why it is mystic and occurred? It is present before my eyes and still I don't recognize. How do you say it is present before my eyes? Are you listening? Yes. What capacity makes you listen? Consciousness. It is present here. It is present here and now. Still, I don't, I claim I don't see. So what happens? First, I claim I don't see the real self. You see, first level of ignorance. And then the second level of ignorance. If I don't see the real self, then what do I see? Is myself. Mind gets attached to this body and the breath. And so two levels causes blunder in our perception every day, every moment. See? So because of these two layers of ignorance, now I see something else. Where I see I'm of not the nature of happiness. Sunlight, because of the presence of the sunlight, I see the clouds, but I refuse it. My mind refuses it because of ignorance. Then I see that happiness lies in the pasta. Obviously, that is my second statement. Oh, happiness lies in my honey. That is why I got married. And blah, 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 long list. Now, concept. So, happiness comes from the external source. That is what my mind takes for granted. Even now, you may think the happiness is coming from this beer guy. Not at all. It is already within you. Like the shining sun. And so we often associate happiness with the external triggers because of our conditional responses and the immediate gratification they provide. When we receive a gift, I'm coming to examples. When we receive a gift, we feel a surge of joy. Thank you very much. Say you got a new smartphone, you are excited. You feel spatial. You experience a rush of positive emotions. Modern science checks, oh, you have a rush of adrenaline or melatonin or whatever it is. I'm not going there to the brain. So what happens? So where the rush is happening, it is in me. It is in response to the smartphone. But how it is in response to the smartphone? Why your mind does not respond to the wall here, monitor here? Because I'm attached. I like it. Hmm. Well, because I like it, I dislike it. So when in the only in the presence of liking and disliking, pain and pleasure, victory and defeat, profit and loss, my mind triggers. I become one with the external trigger, and that trigger agitates me. What is that agitation? I must have smartphone and someone gifts you, and that trigger, that agitation is gone, and you are happy. You're not happy because of the smartphone. You are happy because that trigger, that hesitation has gone. That is why we say it is a mystical discipline. It's a mystery. Spiritual awakening it is nothing like a mystery. We need not to explain in terms of the modern science, mystery, occult science. No, don't go there. Be very clear. It is not a full picture that I am excited, I'm enjoying keeping the smartphone in my hand. No, no, this is not the cause of my happiness. My hesitation, excitement is also an hesitation. Excitement is also an hesitation, my friends. Oh, but still I'm happy. Two people can have different reactions to the same phone. Practically, I don't love this iPhone. I like Android. Look at my mind. My mind is not excited at all. Imagine a rainy day. One person might feel gloomy and irritated. It causes asthma attack, while another might feel cozy and peaceful. Our expectations can shape our happiness, which we believe coming from outside. Answer is big no. My expectation defines my happiness and sorrow. You drop the expectation, you drop the clouds. You can directly see the sun. You can directly see the sun. So that consciousness, being unchanging, that is all pervading, is often described as the backdrop against which all experiences, including happiness, occur. This relates to our experience of happiness in many different ways. Take a couple of examples to understand. In deep meditation, some people report a state of pure awareness that is inherently peaceful and content, regardless of external circumstances. I am aware of that emptiness or fullness in deep meditation, even in the presence of lot of thoughts of expectations which I have separated. I'm there. We have to go a little deeper. What is that deeper means? We are already deep. I have yet to understand. No problem. Regular attending the session will help you understand. So we have now two things. One is the awareness of happiness. Pay attention. Another is the feeling of happiness. Awareness of happiness. Feeling of happiness. I'm aware that you are here. I feel that you are crazy. See that? Awareness of happiness and feeling of happiness. Again, metaphor, because only metaphor can help you understand. Awareness is like a mirror that reflects all the experiences. I'm repeating again. Awareness is like happiness. Awareness is like a mirror that reflects all experiences, including the happiness of getting the smartphone without being affected by them. An iPhone cannot affect my consciousness, but definitely it creates an experience and it can change the experience. Which iPhone you gifted me? So it is wrapped. Oh, thank you very much. I'm very happy. Now I ask you a question which, oh, it's an iPhone 10. Oh, it's so old. And I got upset. So both happiness and upset are experiences, reflecting all the experiences, but that awareness is not changing at all. I am aware that I'm upset, I'm aware that I'm happy. Awareness did not change. My feeling changes. Why? Expectation. Clouds of desires and expectations. What happens? Understanding this, I'm always in the state of meditation. Awareness is like a mirror that reflects all the experiences. Nothing happens to the mirror, but I claim it happens to me. I'm upset. You're such a good friend of mine, and you gifted me only the iPhone 10. You have a lot of money, so I have a range of the thoughts that causes the problem. But when you gifted me, it was wrapped, so I was very happy. So I'm aware of happiness and now I'm aware of upset. Both are different and separate from me. Think. If we don't think, what happens? Who do not think? Except the human beings, no other living being thinks. Yeah, that I know. Very good. So if you know it, you should also know that no living being except a human being can change. The lion remains the lion throughout their life. Tiger remains the tiger throughout their life. Cows remain uh, cows remain cows throughout their life. Cow eats only the grass. It will continue to eat the grass. Tiger is going to eat the flesh. See that? Understanding is required. The way I'm aware of the image in front of the mirror, you have already witnessed the dog and cats. You put them before the mirror and then see what they do. They don't have that self-awareness. We have that self-awareness. Come on, it's not second guy, it's me. My reflected image. Dog does not understand this. Lion does not understand this. Tiger does not understand this. They start fighting. They feel there is some foreign element. That is what we do. We fight with our desires, our clinging. That is what we call struggle in our life. There is no struggle. See, awareness, I said, awareness is like a mirror that reflects all the experiences, including happiness, pain, pleasure, like and dislike. And because of that, expectations, identification takes place, then we project our desire for happiness on the external things or relationship because by mistake we believe they are the source of our happiness. And as long as this crazy mind, unexamined mind, recognizes that the happiness is outside, I will. It is just like the clouds of desires and expectations. I will never be able to recognize and realize. I will be happy if I only have this car. Making a statement, buying it, possessing it until you possess it, that hesitation continues. Once you possess it, hesitation is gone. And I have seen a lot of people here, but majority, 99% of the people keep their car washed, clean. But 1%, they have Mercedes, they have higher range of the cars, and they are so dirty. The happiness is gone from the car. We all are, except Terry, we all are married. So, first time marriage, a stranger meets us. After a few months, we are familiar. After a few years, we are attached. And one day, your honey leaves the house for 3 days. You feel a sense of emptiness. Why you feel the sense of emptiness? That emptiness is because of my expectations and attachment. This is what Ashok was talking. I always see half empty and half full. It will not work. I'm not with myself because I have been living with honey for so many years and days. I developed a kind of expectations and attachment. He or she is not there for a few days and my emptiness returns. Emptiness because of I have lot of attachment and association. That is why I feel a sense of, oh, honey is gone. No, let me absorb into meditation and enjoy that state. It doesn't happen. I don't feel a sense of independence. I don't feel the sense of freedom. I feel the sense of loneliness. This is what happens to our crazy mind because we don't reflect on it. We simply listen to it and we use it and then finished. So once we understand this, we also understand that at least one thing is sure. You have told us that the happiness is not the property of any object which takes birth and dies or which changes. Happiness is not the product of anything from outside. It means the happiness must be somewhere. Where it is? It is inside. I am of the nature of happiness. If I don't remove the clouds of desires and expectations, that is what we say the purity of the mind. If the mind is not pure, if I do not have an ethical living with it, I know I've given a break to the mind what to do, what not to do. This happiness cannot be found. So when the master says happiness is me, my nature, happiness and consciousness is one. Or you can explain the real self in three different ways. Sat, real self. Sat means the truth in the real. What is truth? What is real? That is not changing, that is all pervading, that is eternal. Then the second explanation of the real self is the chit real self. Chit means consciousness. So sometimes we say I'm conscious, pure consciousness. Yes. Third is ananda. Ananda, real self. I am of the nature of permanent happiness. They all are together. They are all are basically one. But through our mind, we explain it. Why? To understand it. We are so called into a mystical discipline. I made it very clear. Nothing is mystic, but mystic in a sense that I only see the waves. I don't see the water. Wave cannot exist without the water. I only see the body and the mind, my behavior and attitude, my expectations and desires. I don't see that consciousness. Even if it is present here and now, because I cannot see the master plays with the seeker in the beginning, depending on the level of the seeker temperament. Okay, you are right. It's a mystical discipline. So we will find that, reveal that mystic, close your eyes and do the meditation. Then we see that. Otherwise, with eyes open, we can be into that state of meditation. Look at it. See clearly. When we see it clearly, so when do we experience the moments of pure happiness free from the external condition? Sometimes we are sitting alone and we find a state of contentment, moments of natural beauty in the nature, watching a sunset. So for a brief moment, those clouds of desire and expectations drops. We experience that happiness. You experience the happiness in a sunset, for example. You don't want to possess the sunset. See the difference. But in other objects, we want to possess, we want to acquire. So there is an expectation. I don't want to possess the morning sun. I enjoy without expectations. And that helps us to recognize, get a glimpse of, yes, you are right, because I feel that it is within me. So the master says that we are consciousness unchanging, all pervading in three states. What are the three states? Waking, dream, and sleep. See the beauty. I would love to cover it in the next session, but I'm just giving you a glimpse of it. We all are in deep sleep. Next moment, we are aware, and that awareness is a waking state that comes first. Then comes the mind with the past impressions. The past impression takes over my mind, it clouds my consciousness, and then it has all the thoughts and the feelings. Awareness of a waking state without the mind, and awareness of a waking state the with the mind are two different things. Mind will push you, oh, I'm this and that, yeah, I have this problem. Oh, everything of the past returns to me, which I call my personality, my behavior, my attitude, my suffering, my pain, and long list. And we continue to suffer. Hmm. Look at it. So the master says consciousness, this real self, pervades all the three states because it is independent of all the three states of waking, dream, and the sleep. So the master simply named it, it is fourth state. And in Sanskrit, fourth state means Turiya. Turiya simply means fourth, nothing more than that, nothing less than that. It is not like if you define the waking state and the sleep state and the dream. Yeah, we can define. Turiya means fourth. Why they have not given any name to it? Because the moment you give a name and a form, you have covered it, you have veiled it. That is the beauty. The master defined, but we use the word Turiya as if it is something very mystical and occult. Master makes it clear it is simply the fourth. Don't try to create your imagination and projection on the fourth. One, two, three. You can explain it. Sleep, waking, dream. Fourth, meditative state. They were very careful not to name it. They simply, after all, you have to use some word. Why? Because the master thought, the way the master created this word, and they thought that at least the seeker should not move with the knowledge of an object, but an object of knowledge. That makes the things clear. So then what happens? Oh, I have a cognition, and that cognition is independent of the body, breath, mind, thought, likes and dislikes, and that is what the permanent happiness we have. We live into that state of permanent happiness. Objects comes and goes. We have a likes and dislikes of the objects. Let it be there. I have only to see the cloud is not the sun. Being clouded by this, when the sun is clouded, still the sun is as it is. There is no difference. That happiness is always there in us. You have an extreme pain. Good. I'm using the word extreme. You have an extreme hatred against a person. Both are extremes. Clear? Now the person dies with whom you have an extreme hatred. But on that given day, on that time, you have an extreme pain in your head. There is still happiness inside. Ah, at last that guy died. Pain and happiness is still there. It always remains. They have to contemplate, sit down with what? Sit down with an empty mind. There, your half emptiness will work. See that? Then another logic, reasoning the master gives. You go to a restaurant, you eat pasta, you like it on the scale of 10. Second time you go there, it will not be as happiness as it was for the first time. The score is 9. You keep on going for a couple of weeks, and one day your mind says, no, how long I will continue to eat pasta? Enough is enough. Where happiness is gone. You derive that happiness, so called, you derive that happiness from eating the pasta. And the first time that goes on decreasing and ultimate. That is why we lose interest. First time because of the sensuality, getting married for 6 months, lot of sexual desire is there. After 6 months, then I recognize the emotional and mental pattern of my partner. And then I say, oh, I have to, this is, you see, gradual, there is a decrease. Then we have to maintain the social and ethical relationship. Think, think. Happiness is not an object. Happiness is me. Happiness is not an object. Happiness is me. And that me is not the body and the mind. That me is consciousness. It is objectless. This is what our masters talks about in a different way. So when I recognize through contemplation and reflection, when I recognize that no object can be the source of happiness, your mind will never wander. It is not projecting, it is not distracted. Do you mean to say that you don't have any thought? Yes, you have all the thoughts in your mind. But those thoughts now do not belong to you. You are happy. In spite of the fact that the thoughts are there, they are present, and still no thought disturbs you and agitates you. So the metaphor, where's the metaphor? Ashok was saying half empty and half full. Because metaphor is not exact copy of the principle. That is why to make you understand, we use the metaphor, but not exactly equal. So what happens that I see all the wandering thoughts in the space of the mind together. So that half empty and half full is together here, which we explain by half empty and half full. Physically, it is half empty and half full. Psychologically, no. Oh, so can I? Millions of birds are flying in the sky. Oh, now sky is full. Really? Can sky be ever full? We take it for granted and we say, "Oh, I have understood. So no, this will not work. I have to contemplate and reflect." So the metaphor of half empty and half full. Now, no thought is there. Why I say no thought is there? Because I constantly experience the emptiness. What? But the millions of thoughts are there in my mind. How can you say that? Uh, None of these thoughts has a tag of I, me, and mine. Do you have a tag of the neighbor's house, I, me, and mine? No. You are free. But it doesn't mean that neighbor's house does not exist. It is already there. And huh? That is what mindfulness and meditation is. Ashok is perhaps writing a lot. Ashok, did you understand? How are you, Terry?
Oh, I'm good. I'm fine.
So
Um,
any thought pertaining, yeah, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I was thinking that the glass is half empty, half full, and also completely empty.
Yes, also completely empty. You are right.
Because what is in the glass is like in the emptiness. The emptiness is behind it.
Yes, you are right. The same thing happens with our mind. This is what the master is explaining because people do not understand. Then we use the metaphor and then we even distort this metaphor. We understand in our own way, habitual way. And that causes a lot of problem. Sir, Samir, कैसे हो?
सर ठीक हूँ सर, बढ़िया एकदम।
बढ़िया।
अंधेरा है, बादल हैं थॉट्स के, जैसे छटते हैं तो सूरज उगता है, खुशी का है ही वहां पे
सूरज तो पहले भी था और अभी भी है।
भी है। ये तो हमारे एक्सपेक्टेशन, डिजायर, उसको मेरा एक नजरअंदाज सा कर दे, देखने नहीं दे पाते।
हाँ, बिल्कुल सही बोले। दैट इज द राइट वे। वैभव।
नमस्ते सर, थैंक यू सर।
बहुत बहुत बढ़िया लेक्चर था, बहुत आनंद आया।
ओह,
मैं
वेरी
तो,
गुड।
मेरे को तो लग रहा है मेडिटेशन सी हो गई है।
हाँ, मेडिटेशन ही हो गई। थैंक यू। हाँ।
थैंक यू सर।
Samir is saying, Terry, that it was a good lecture. So I was patting my. हाँ, वैभव।
The happiness is like freedom of mind, like in the absence of an object or not an object, the freedom stays. It's,
हाँ, हाँ, बिल्कुल। और it is possible here and now. No mysticism, no spiritual, forget about. We use the word spirituality and mysticism because we want to segregate, separate it from the objective reality. You can reverse this word. So many scientists have tried to do it. They said it is physics. Do you remember the another word? It is metaphysics. So whether you name that one is metaphysics or this one physics, it does not make any difference. Master says, get rid of all these parts. You are free. So wonderful. That is all for today. We'll meet again on Monday.
thank
Thank
you, sir.
you very much.
Thank you, sir. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.